Shalom. Yahweh Shemi Ashar Barakathum to all the brothers. Shalom. Yahweh Shema Thabah Shemi Ashar to all the sisters. I am priest and officer Abad Hayah of 1000, and this is the Brotherhood and Unity class. So, what is Brotherhood? What is so special about Brotherhood? Christ, our King, Yahweh Shamashiach, he had Brotherhood for us, for his nation, for the blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men, women, and children. He showed what we have to do for Brotherhood. He even said, if you love the Most High God, the law hinges on these 2 points: love the Most High God with all thy heart, mind, and soul, and love thy neighbor as thyself. Love thy brother as thyself. We gotta love each other as we love ourselves. Do unto others what you want done unto you. Right. Christ, he died for his nation. Right. There's no greater love than this, that a man die for his friends. Right. We have to be willing to die for our nation, to risk everything for our nation. Bet everything on Israel. Bet everything on Yasharallah. Our name is Prince of the Power, right. Princess if you're a female. Right. We are a royal nation of people, and we are God's chosen people, so we have a priesthood. So we are royalty, and we're priests of the Lord. And the Lord is separate. He's not dealing with everybody. He's only dealing with blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men, women, and children. So we want to get into Baruch, the 4th chapter, and we're going to break down Baruch. So let's get Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. What is that?
Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. And this is the book of the commandments of God.
So it says, this is the book of the commandments of God. This is the book of the commandments of God. So the Bible plus the Apocrypha is the books of the commandments of God. This is what we should be adhering to. We shouldn't be adhering to the Egyptology, the Quran. That's what we should be adhering to. We should be adhering to these laws, statutes, commandments that's in the Bible. And we shouldn't be in the Christian church because they don't teach the Bible. They teach Christian dogma, right. Christian philosophies. They say things that are not true in the Bible. Christ is a black man, yet they have Caesar Borgia, an oppressor. They say the law is done away with, but clearly the scripture says Christ said it out of his own mouth, I have not come to do away with the law or the prophets. The Israelites are blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men, women, and children. Deuteronomy 28:68. We went on those cargo slave ships. The Israelites is us. We went into slavery on ships. No other nation of people went into slavery on ships. We went into slavery on ships. So we have to be in the I.S.U.P.K. We got to keep these commandments, keep the Lord's Passover, keep the feast days, keep the high holy days. Read again from the top, Baba Show.
Come on. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God.
So this is the book of the commandments of God. We need to be renewing our minds daily. We got to read and study the Bible. Let's hold that. Give me Isaiah 34:16, Baba Shaw. Isaiah 34:16. We need to read and study the Bible. We need to act when we have questions. We need to come to the men of God to get those questions answered, so we get the proper understanding of the Bible. We gotta come to class so we can get our precepts together, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. Because even though if you read the Bible from front to back, from Genesis, concluding the Apocrypha, all the way down to Revelation. That's not how the Bible's broken down, though. You just get the backdrop, the backdrop of it. You won't. That's not how it's broken down. It's precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. That's how the Bible's broken down. So let's get Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 16, Brother Kishore.
Isaiah chapter
34 and verse 16.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 34, verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord. It didn't say the Quran. It says, seek ye out the book of the Lord. That's where we need to be searching for. That's what we should be seeking. That's what we should be looking for. That's where we should be going to. We shouldn't be going nowhere else. And we just read in Baruch chapter 4, verse 1, this is the book of the commandment of God. So the Bible, and that's the book. So we got to seek ye out the book of the Lord, the Holy Bible. That's what we got to seek. These commandments, these scriptures. We have to. That's where our salvation lies. We are the people of the book. This is our history, our heritage, our customs, our culture. So this is what we got to learn from generation to generation to generation till forever. Nothing changed from biblical times during the time of Moses. Moses laid it down for us. We accepted the covenant between Most High God and ourselves, and we chose to be His people. We chose to adhere to His law, His commandments, and He will be our God. And we'll be on top of the earth because of that. We'll get to rule the earth, be above all nations of people. But we chose to break that covenant. We chose to repeatedly break the covenant and go into captivity after captivity. We got punished for it. So we need to come back to it. And Christ has given us the opportunity to come back to it because He's our covenant to Most High God now. Because He died on that cross for our iniquities, our sins. So we have to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. We gotta study to show ourselves approved. We gotta be in class, be into the radio shows, attend the high holy days, attend the Sabbath service. We gotta take our culture back. It has been stripped from us. Our identity has been stripped from us. Our oppressor has done a lot of evil on the earth. A lot of misinformation. There's a lot of philosophies out there and doctrines that goes against the Lord, and we shouldn't be partaking in that. Read, Baba Kishore. Isaiah 34 and 16.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 34, verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
And read, it says it right there. And read. We got to read it. Got no choice. We have to. We got to read it. It's mandatory. We got to. We got to learn our book. We got to learn. We got to read it. We got to take the time out to read a chapter. You got a chance. And as you read the Bible, you will want to read more of it because it's you. First, we got to start off small. We're not accustomed to reading the Bible. We just let it sit on our table for all time to collect dust. We got to open it, start reading, start with a chapter. If that's too much, start with a verse. Start with a verse, and then just as the Spirit comes on you, as you come into class and ask questions, you'll want to read more and more, get those what you have read broken down, and so forth. But we got to read. Read on, Qadazah.
No one of these shall fail.
So these scriptures, it's not going to fail us. Reading the Bible and adhering to it, learning it, and adhering to it, what it has to say, it won't fail us. It's not if we listen to the scriptures and we read the scripture and obey it, it's going to be our foundation. It's going to be our rock. and nothing's going to be able to break that because the Lord will be on our side.
Right.
So we're going to drop that. We're going to go back to Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1. Up Kishar. And we're going to get into it because this is our heritage. This is our heritage. This is our book. This is our foundation. This is what our lives depend on. Our lives depend on it. We gotta grab at it. We gotta be hot. Can't be cold no more. Cold when we was in the world. Nothing about the truth. They know nothing about the I.S.U.P.K. They know nothing about keeping the commandments of God. But now once you get taught, especially when you get that oil put on your head and got that Hebrew name, now we hot and we gotta stay hot. We can't let that zeal fall. If you see that happen, come amongst the brothers more. Come amongst the brothers more. Tune in more. Get into the spirit. Definitely keep the commandments. Definitely keep the commandments. And if you're still struggling, if you keep it, pray to the Most High God. But you only hear the prayers of the righteous, so you gotta keep the commandments. You only hear the prayer of the wicked is abomination. So we gotta keep those commandments. That's mandatory. Right. Also, fasting. There's nothing wrong with going to fast here and there to strengthen, draw close to the Most High God. Draw close to the Most High God. Strengthen your spirit. But we gotta definitely mandatory keep the commandments of God. Because tests and trials and tribulations are going to come. Know ye not that we come to serve the Most High God? Prepare thy soul for temptation.
Right.
We got to prepare ourselves because it's going to come. Satan is going to come. Because when we was in the world, Satan had us.
Right.
He had us. He didn't have to really do too much. But now that we're in the truth, he has to work that much harder to bring us back into iniquity, into sin, transgression of the law. So he's going to come attack you. And we're not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of his devices. The old man is gone, but he's going to try to use those same devices that he used on that old man. But we got to remember that we're a new creature in Christ. So those things don't affect us anymore. And if we have any troubles with that, always counsel is always advisable from the men above us. Counsel, because in the multitude of counselors there is safety. There is safety in the multitude of counselors. So we're going to get Baruch chapter 4 verse 1, Baba Kishal.
This is the book of Baruch chapter 4 verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God.
This is the book of the commandments of God. This is the book of the commandments of God. We got to remember that. We got to remember that this is the book of the commandments of God. And in Romans 15 and 4, it says, for what was written aforetime, for whatsoever was written aforetime was written for our learning. So in Romans, that's the New Testament. What was written before the New Testament? The Old Testament. So the Old Testament was written for our learning. So we must learn from the Old Testament. We got to learn it. We got to learn the books in the Apocrypha because it's part of the Old Testament. It was just taken out. It was just taken out, but it wasn't tampered with. It was just sold separately. So read Baruch 4:1 again, Baba Kishal.
This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endureth forever.
This is the book of the commandments of God. The commandments of God was given to us. Was given to us, blacks, Latinos, First Nation, men, women, and children. And it's important that we understand that there is a benefit to keeping it and a consequence of breaking it. So let's get Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1, Baba Kishal. Because there is a consequence when we break the laws of God, and there is a benefit when we keep the laws of God. So we always want to be on the right side, on the right side of the Lord. always want to be on the right side of the Lord. But that comes from obeying him, walking in his ways. That's all he wants. All he wants is obedience. The Most High God is the Most High. He's above everything. We have to obey our Creator. He created the heavens and the earth. He created us. He gave us a body. He gave us a spirit. He created us. We have to do what he tells us to do. It's just that simple. That's what pleases the Most High God. Obedience. He will rather want obedience rather than sacrifice. He doesn't want us. He doesn't during the Levitical priesthood. He didn't want us sacrificing. He didn't have pleasure in sacrificing and burnt offerings as in obedience. He'd rather us just be perfect. That's what he wants. He wants us to be perfect. He wants us to be perfect. And now we have no excuse not to be perfect because our King Christ is perfect. Is perfect. He kept the laws of God. Now we can keep the laws of God because he showed us the way. Because he had a father and a mother. His father was Joseph. That Christian dogma again saying that Mary Mary was not impregnated by Joseph. That she was either touched by an angel or whatever. That's fiction. That's garbage. Joseph impregnated Mary, and Mary conceived and had a child. And Jesus Christ had birth just like any other man or any other man that come on the earth. So let's get Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 1. And it shall come to pass.
And it shall come to pass. So meaning this is going to happen. This is going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. That's your car? What is that?
Wow.
Okay. This is going to happen. Read.
And it shall come to pass if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the Lord, unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
And it shall come to pass if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God. So we have to hearken. We have to listen.
Right.
We have to listen. We have to listen. Life is easy. All we gotta do is obey. All we gotta do is come to the priest to learn. We gotta learn to obey. We just gotta be obedient children. Obedient children. Trials and tribulations are going to come, but if we hearken, if we listen diligently, continually, so we just can't listen for a little while. We can't be like that. Christ gave parables about the seed and the sower. Some sowed in the field on good ground. Some sowed it upon stony places. Some sown it by the wayside, and some sown it by thorns. So, point being, when it was thrown about the thorns, he was able. The thorns represented the wayside represented when the sower is the word. The word is we pull that scripture part of the seed and the sower. When Christ was explaining a parable about the sower and the parable of the sower. Biblical show. Parable of the sower. I think it's in Matthew. Biblical show. But this is the book of the commandments of God. We in Deuteronomy 28 in verse 1. And this shall come to pass, and thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God. We must hearken diligently. We have to. We have no choice. We got to hearken diligently, continually. We can't stop doing it. We can't stop doing it. We can't be like someone who receives the word of God and immediately they get joy and wants to do the work. Once trials and tribulation comes, they fall away. We can't be like that. We can't let the riches of the world, sway us neither, choke us up out of the truth. And definitely, we can't let the deceiver, the oppressor, trick us and turn us away from the truth once we hear it.
Right.
I was just breaking down the sower, but Christ breaks it down even better. You got it, Brother?
Come on. This is 2 Corinthians.
Oh, it's Second Corinthians. It's sure it's not in the first book, first 4 books.
You want me to read this?
Yeah,
Come on, sir. This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 10.
Okay.
Now he that ministereth seed to the sower. Is that it?
That's not it. That's not it. It's like I should have had it ready. It just came to mind just now. Thought it would be in Matthew. Oh yeah, it's in Matthew 6. No. It's not that. It's not Matthew 6. We'll just drop that. I'll get another time. I'm not gonna waste time on it. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1 at the top of the show. So Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1. I think I found the 13th chapter.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. Somebody get it. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God. We have to hearken diligently. We have to hearken to him continually. We gotta always keep the commandments of God. We can't transgress. Can't transgress the law. We gotta keep it. We gotta obey. We gotta be perfect. Quite as I was able to find it. It's like Matthew 13. 13. We can start at verse 3. Yeah, this is the parable. The parable of the sower is in Matthew chapter 13 and verse 3. Christ gives a parable, similar to like an analogy of the truth, and how people receive it once they hear the truth. So the good news, the word, the good news, the gospel, the truth. Yes, let's get Matthew started at 3. We're going to read the parable first because Christ gives the parable to the people, and then he breaks it down to his disciples. Read, Baba Kishore.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 3. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying.
And he spake many things unto them in parables. Because he spoke in parables. So the ones that's supposed to hear it will hear it. Because Christ, our King, he's an austere man. And some people are just not meant to hear it. Some of us are just not meant to hear it. And if you don't check, like if Christ would have spoke plain to everybody, everybody would got to check. It'll been easy. It'll been easy for everybody to come into the truth, know what it's about. But he spoke in parables. He spoke in parables and similitudes. Read.
Behold, a sower went forth to sow.
So in this parable, in this similitude, there was a sower. A sower is like a farmer, and he's sowing seed. He's like planting seed in the earth. Sowing. Read.
Verse 4. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up.
So when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. So these seeds, they didn't go into the earth. They just went to the side, just went to the side, and the seed and the fowls of the air, they were just up on the ground. The fowls of the air, they was just able to grab them and eat them and take them away, and devour them up. Yeah, was able to eat them and get rid of them. Go read verse 5.
Verse 5. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth.
So some fell upon stony places. So stony. So when it was around the stony places, the stony places they already had. So it was occupied. That part of the earth, that part of the ground was occupied by stones and such. So when so where they laid, they didn't have the seed that had much room to grow. The roots that had much room to get rooted and grow. So it just sprung up immediately, and we're gonna find out what happened. Read verse 6.
Verse 6. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away.
And when the sun was up, they were scorched. So the sun scorched them. The sun scorched them. The sun scorched them, and they was destroyed. They was destroyed. Read after scorched.
And because they had no root,
or they was damaged. When they were scorched, they got damaged because of the sun. Read.
They withered away.
And because it was stony places, and it was occupied with, because it was a stony place, it was already occupied. It withered away because it had no root. It had the roots that wasn't able to grow. So it withered away because of the sun. It got scorched, damaged, and then because of its roots, it had no roots in the earth. It just withered away. That was the second one. So the first one fell by the wayside. The second one was the stony places. They had no, and they was the ones that had no root and got scorched by the sun and was damaged and got rid of too. Read on part of that.
Verse 7. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them.
So some of the seeds, they grew up with the thorns. They fell among the thorns. So as these seeds was growing, they was growing with the thorns, and once the thorns was able to spring up, it choked them. So they wasn't able to survive. That plant, that seed wasn't able to survive because it got choked by the thorns. Read.
Verse 8.
So that was three bad things happened to the seeds. So, but this is going to be the one positive. Read.
Verse 8. But other fell into good ground. So this ground was good ground. It wasn't a stony place. It wasn't with thorns. It was actual good ground. It wasn't by the wayside. It was good ground, good earth. Good earth, clean. Read. Verse 9.
Verse 8.
Verse 8. And brought forth fruit.
And this brought forth fruit. See, this brought forth fruit. So this one actually brought forth fruit. Read.
Some an hundredfold,
some 100-fold,
and some 60-fold,
and some 60-fold,
some 30-fold,
and some 30-fold. So this fruit, this seed fell upon good ground and brought forth fruit. It actually was able to do what it was accomplished to do. And some of it was able to bring forth 100-fold, 60-fold, and 30-fold. Now, Christ is going to explain. So we're going to keep reading, and Christ is going to explain what all this actually means. Continue to read, Quadazar.
Verse 9. Who have ears to hear, let them hear.
So we all have ears. This meaning who has understanding. Who has understanding? Let him. Whoever has understanding, let him hear. Let him understand. Read.
Verse 10. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables?
And the disciples wanted to know why Christ was speaking into parables, speaking unto the people into parables. And Christ gave a response. Read.
Verse 11. He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. But to them it is not given.
But because it's given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but unto them it is not given. See, the truth, the understanding of the parables that Christ gave, because was given the true understanding of what. Read that part again. Because it's given. Verse 11. He answered and said unto them, because it is given.
He answered unto him, because it was given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven.
Because to the disciples, they were supposed to understand. Christ wanted them to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. What the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. It was not for. It was not for everybody. Christ just didn't want everybody to understand what he was saying. Right. He just didn't want everybody to understand what he was saying. Now we're gonna get the understanding of it. Oh, and it's okay. We're gonna get the understanding of it soon. But first, we're gonna get verse 15. But drop down to verse 15.
Verse 15. In red letters. For this people's heart is waxed gross.
Actually, start at 14.
Verse 14 in red letters. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah.
Yeah, Isaiah, which is Isaiah.
Isaiah, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear.
By hearing ye shall hear. Read.
And shall not understand.
And shall not understand. These are Christ's words. This is Christ's parables. Read.
Right. And seeing ye see, and shall not perceive.
And seeing ye shall see and shall not perceive. So it was written. What was written 4 times? Written for our learning. Christ understood the scriptures. He understood that. By hearing ye shall hear and not understanding, seeing ye shall see, shall not perceive. Fulfilled by the prophet Isaiah. Christ just in verse, we're gonna see in verse 15. Christ just did not want. He just didn't want to heal. He didn't want to heal. He spoke this way because he didn't want to have to heal all of the wicked niggers of Israel, the wicked leaders of Israel, the Pharisees, Sadducees, the ones who was going to go against him and put him on the cross. Read verse 15, Baba Kushal.
Verse 15. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them.
And I see, if they was to understand, if Christ would have spoke plain to the people, to the people that didn't understand the parables, they would understand. They will understand, and then they will be converted, and Christ will have to heal. Christ will have to heal them. But Christ will have to heal them. But he just didn't want to. He didn't want to heal the wicked, the ones that crucified him, the one that put him on the cross, the ones that kept going against him. He didn't want to do that. Read verse 16 of Kushan.
Verse 16. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear.
But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. So now, disciples, they was able to see. They was because they follow Christ. They follow Christ. They was able to see, and they showed because they follow Christ. They follow Christ, and they kept following Christ. Even always to the end, and they did the works after he went to the Father. Read verse 18, Bukashaw.
Verse 18. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower.
So this is the parable. Now hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. This is the parable of the sower. This is the parable of the sower. This is the understanding of the sower. Read.
Verse 19. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not.
So when anyone heareth the word of the kingdom, that's the seed. That's the seed. The sower is the prophet speaking the word of the kingdom.
Right.
Of the kingdom. Of the gospel, of the good news, of the truth. The sower is the prophet, and the seed is the word, the word of the kingdom, the truth, the gospel. Read.
Then cometh the wicked one.
So read again from the top, Baba Kashaw.
Verse 19. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart.
So this was the seeds that fell by the wayside. This was the seed that Christ said that fell by the wayside. So when anyone hears the word of when anyone hear so this is like a camp. Just see it as camp. When the priests and the prophets are speaking the words of God, and you have people in the crowd listening to the word of the Most High God. When they don't understand it, when they lack the understanding, and it's battling to the head, what an oppressor may come to the side and start whispering in their ear, start telling them things, and then they might start agreeing with that oppressor, and eventually they might start coming against the camp in some way, shape, or form, yelling, berating the camp, trying to get the speaker off topic, just spewing nonsense.
Right.
So that is the wicked one, and see that's that. Read. Continue to read, Baba Kashaw.
This is he which receives seed by the wayside.
So that's what receive seed by the wayside. That's the seed by the wayside.
Right.
So just think of it as camp. Read
verse 20. But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word.
Read.
And anon with joy receiveth it.
So this one receiveth stone by the stony places. So what happens to him is that immediately, like he'd be like, snap, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. He'd be such infatuated with the truth, such infatuated. It's like with that with the scroll when you taste the book is in Revelations. When the book was tasted first, it's sweet in the mouth. It's sweet in the mouth. That's the learning. The Hebrew Israelites, we the chosen people of God. It's that understanding. We gain that understanding back from the Most High God. We get that understanding back. We get our heritage back. We get our culture back. We start to understand the truth. But once we eat it, that's when we eat it. But when we swallow it and it goes in our mouth, it becomes bitter in our stomach. Because afterwards, after we get the understanding, the truth, what's next? We gotta live up to it. Now we gotta go to camp, be hated by our people, be hated by the world. We gotta do the work now. We gotta be in it. We gotta go to class. We gotta do everything. And trials and tribulations start to come. Trials and tribulations that wasn't there, and that what happens to the stony one who fell by the stony places. That once trials and tribulations hit, they bounce. They leave the truth because they wasn't able to. They didn't have that foundation. They didn't have a strong enough foundation. They wasn't in the good ground. Read Quadazah.
Verse 21. Yet have he root in himself, but
yet he had not.
Yet had he not rooted in himself, but dureth for a while.
See, he didn't have no root in himself, so he was only able to endure for a little while. You may see as you be in the truth that some come to class and go. Right. They don't stay. They don't stay because they didn't have enough. They didn't have enough root. They didn't have enough foundation. It wasn't solid. They didn't. They had that foundation. Read.
This is like it. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, by and by he is offended.
Because when persecution or tribulation arises because of the word, we can't do what's the birthdays, right. Thanksgiving. Can't be with the family around Thanksgiving. Can't receive any presents no more on your birthday. Can't do Christmas. Can't go ahead. What is that?
Can't sleep with white women.
Can't sleep with white women. Can't fulfill your own lust. Right. That's that persecution and tribulation. Can't do that. Just can't do that. So gets offended because it's that tug between the flesh and the spirit, and unfortunately, in this case, the flesh wins out. So read on what is that?
Verse 22. He also that receives seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word.
So also the one that received among the thorns, he hears the word also. He hears the word, just like the one in the stony places. They both hear the word. They both understand the truth. But something else happens to the one among the thorns. Read.
and the care of this word and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful.
So the cares of the world and the deceitfulness of riches, it chokes it chokes the word, chokes the truth. It becomes unfruitful. So we can't allow ourselves because this world is enmity with God. We can't allow because this world, Esau's society is going to come to an end. So we can't focus on being rich in Esau society, caring about Esau society. It's going to fall. It's going to fall, and as it falls, our kingdom rises. So we got to focus on our kingdom. We can't allow the riches, anything in Esau's world to take us out of the truth, whether it's slavery, whether it's your family, whether it's your spouse who's in the world, whether it's your children. Don't allow nothing in this world to choke you out the truth, because you won't. If you focus on the world and not on the Most High God,
right,
you're not going to be fruitful. You're not going to be able to keep the laws of God, because this world is wicked. Esau society is wicked. So you got to focus on the Most High God, keeping the law. Stop. What is that?
I'm on concept if I may, what you're saying is so heavy too, because that's what they want. They want us not to come into truth. They
Right.
want us to do all these wicked things, that America, endorses and promotes. They want us
Right.
to do it.
Right.
And man, especially somebody that's not like in the I.S.U.P.K that you might probably be with, she might be in the world, he might be in the world.
Right.
They will not understand because
Right.
they're not here.
Right.
Understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That's it, sir.
That's right. You qualified comprehend. It's absolutely right. We can't allow nothing to take us above the truth. The Most High God, our own household, the ones that our own house. Christ came to send a sword, and he put put us at variance with a father against the son and a mother against the daughter. And our foes will be those of our own household. So we can't allow the ones close to us to take us out the truth. We gotta love the Most High God more than them. Got to. So we got one more. So continue to read, Partizan.
But he that receives seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit and bringeth forth, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30.
See that's the ones these are the ones that understand the word. The one that but he that receives seed into the good ground. So the one that was into the good ground, they understand the word, but they also bring in fruit by doing the work, by doing the work. For the men, coming in, doing your 90 days, shedding yourself with the word of the world, and asking questions, again, understanding the word, get understanding of the true breakdowns of the scriptures, and becoming a trooper.
Right.
And then of course, once you become a trooper, you get anointed with oil, and then you start following orders from the officers above you.
Right.
And obeying those orders and getting it done. Whether when you're in school, you gotta clean the school. You gotta hand out waters during class. You gotta during the high holy days serve food.
Right.
Definitely when it's camp time, go to camp, read. And a job is, and as being, and when we a trooper, we gotta remember our days in all black. Remember our days reading on that podium. And when we read, we be right where the speaker wants us to be. Have our finger right there. We do these things. We obey. We follow orders. Because the best trooper is the best officer. Best officer is the best captain. Best captain, best general, so forth and so forth. We gotta make sure we diligent. So and sisters, obeying your husbands. If you don't have a husband, obeying the priest of the Lord. Be raising those. If you have a husband, raising those children right, teaching them right. Don't have a husband, listen to the priest, feeding the priest, bringing food to school, and all that. These are all works. This is all fruit. Some of the hundredfold. Some can do a lot in the truth. Some can do a good amount, and some can only do a little bit. But we all have our office. So but all of them brought forth fruit, whether it was 100, 60, or 30, and it all help bring Christ's kingdom back in order. All helps Christ's kingdom back in order. Nothing's too small. As long as you're on that good ground, you're in the clear. So that was the parable of the sower. So we'll go back to Deuteronomy 28th chapter, verse 1, because we got to diligently, continually we got to hearken diligently, continually. That's the point. We have to be like the good seed on the good ground that produces fruit, so Christ's kingdom can come into place. Because a good tree can only bring forth good fruit, and a wicked tree can only bring forth bad fruit.
Right.
And the axe is laid at the axe is laid at the trunk of the tree. Again, I'm paraphrasing. The axe is laid at the trunk of the tree, ready to tear down whatever is not producing good fruit. So read Deuteronomy 28, verse 1.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God. We have to hearken diligently, continually. We have to continually do it. God be like that good seed that landed in that good ground. God be like that seed that landed in that good ground that produces good fruit. Good fruit. Read.
To observe and to do all his commandments.
So we have to observe to do all his commandments. We have to learn. First, we got to learn his commandments. We got to learn. We got to learn it from the priests, the prophets of the Lord. Everybody has to learn. Like a baby, when it comes to it know nothing. And that's the same thing when we come into the truth. We're a young man. We don't know nothing. Because our precious society does not teach the Bible. Nothing outside of the I.S.U.P.K teaches the Bible correctly. Nothing outside of it. No fake Israelite group, no Christian church, nothing. This is the home of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is the home of the truth. This is the body that the Lord is dealing with. That's it, and that's all. So we got to learn. We got to learn first to do, and then once we have learned it, once we have learned something, we got to apply what we have learned. So what are some things that we learn? Don't eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster. Don't eat tuna fish. So what do? Once we learn that, we just don't eat it. We don't eat pork. We just don't put that in our mouths. We don't put it in our mouth. We don't swallow it. We don't put it in our mouths. We don't do nothing with it. We don't eat pork, shrimp, crab, tuna, lobster. We don't eat none of that.
Right.
What we can do, in dietary law, we can eat chicken. We can eat lamb. We can eat
anything in the anything in the fishes, and anything in the sea that has fins and scales. That includes salmon. That includes red snapper. That includes tilapia. That includes sardines. We can eat those things. Just to name a few fishes. We can eat that. We can eat turkey. We can eat beef. We can. What else? That once we learn to do, don't unalive people. Don't steal. Don't covet your neighbor's belongings. So don't be so jealous of your neighbor's things that you actually try to take them from your neighbor.
Right.
Now you can't do that. You just get your own stuff. Be grateful for what the Lord gave you. Don't start taking things and being jealous of your neighbor's things and taking them from him. The Lord gave him that. He earned that with what from he earned that. So you be grateful for what the Lord gave you and what you earned. And what you should do is holler at your neighbor, be like, "Oh, Stan, I see you got this, that, and the third. I like it. How'd you come about it? How did you get it?" He might put you on game.
Right.
Put you on game, but don't do something evil and wicked. Don't do something evil and wicked. We gotta work for what we get. And then you reward in due season. Don't grow tarry. Don't grow weary. Don't grow weary of doing good, because in due season you will be rewarded. But it takes time. But when was the righteous ever forsaken? We just gotta keep putting in the work. You gotta be diligent. Just like when you plant a seed, the next day is not. If you plant an apple seed, the next day is not an apple tree with an apple right there. There's the process. You gotta remember that everything's a process. So once you start putting the work for something, you on the right path to eventually get an apple. But it's gonna take some time. You just gotta keep on doing what you gotta do, nurturing that seed, nurturing it. Don't being consistent in the truth is very important. Being consistent in the truth, being consistent in keeping the law, statutes, and commandments is important.
Right.
Because everything builds upon another. Nurture being obedient. That's what we gotta do. We have to nurture being obedient to the Most High God. What you got to say about that?
Kind of, if I could, man, what you're saying is so heavy. And I want to add too, because a lot of our brothers and sisters is not patient as well too.
Right.
They are not patient. So they want to see results right now.
Right.
They don't want to do the work. They just want to see the results. And that's our problem. That's and that's the thing that we have to stop doing.
Right.
Is understanding the patience and the discipline on changing your life and being who you're supposed to be. Because the main reason why certain brothers come home from prison.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And then they want to go get that job at McDonald's to try to do right.
Right.
But then they see that the money they used to get out in the streets ain't the same as a McDonald's money.
Right.
So they're not patient to become the person on the fries.
Right.
Then become that manager within 5 or 6 years from now.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They don't want to wait that long. They want now I gotta go back to the block and make this $500 to $3,000 a day type of money.
Right.
So yeah, like our people, man, we need to just learn how to be patient, understand, and we're gonna be rewarded.
Right.
Understand, and I'm gonna say this too.
Right.
When we're done with it.
Come.
If I could, like, in our people, when you change, you cannot look for a reward. Don't look for the reward.
Come.
Don't expect to get rewarded.
Come.
Just do good.
Come.
And then the reward will come. It
Right.
will come to your lap.
Right.
Don't look for it.
Right.
Understand what I'm saying? That's just
Give quality to our plan. We have to be patient. We got to. Charity is in the scriptures. Charity is patient. Charity is kind. Charity is love, long suffering. We have to be patient. Everything takes time. Even for us to come onto the earth, as a baby. That takes time. It
Right.
takes a span of 9 to 10 months,
Right.
approximately. And that takes time. Even the process of getting that egg fertilized take time.
Right.
You have to meet a sister, court her, and then eventually marry her. Sex is marriage,
Right.
and then even the marriage night, that takes a period of time for that to everything. So everything is a process.
Right.
Everything is a process. So we gotta make sure. And then when we on earth, then when we're here as a baby, it takes time to get to adulthood. Everything happens in their own season. There's a time to love, there's a time to hate, there's time to plant, time to sow, there's time for everything. And being patient, so always be patient. We got to have a patient spirit, because most High God is long suffering. We got to have the Most High God's qualities, his qualities. He's long suffering towards us.
Right.
And he's long suffering towards us. So we gotta be he's patient. He's long suffering towards us. We gotta be long suffering and patient with our brothers and sisters that's in the world. We gotta be patient with one another. Now we gotta keep that. What we should fight against immediately is iniquity and sin and transgression of the law. That's what we got to do. We got to fight. We got to fight against that. We got to fight ourselves. That's what we fight. We got to fight ourselves. So let's go back to Deuteronomy 28, verse 1. Yes, we can start from the top.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
So if we learn, if we observe to do all the Most High God's commandments, he's going to set us on high. We're going to be set on high. Read after that.
Above all nations of the earth.
So we're going to be set on high above all nations of the earth. We're not going to be the first fired and last hired. We're not going to be the ones. We're not going to be the slaves.
Right.
We're not going to be the slaves. We're going to be the nobility. We're going to be the nobility.
Right.
We're going to be the ones in charge. We're going to be the ones dictating terms, setting laws and rules. That's what we're going to be doing. And of course, we're going to make sure the Most High God's laws, statutes, commandments is put into effect. But we're going to have control of the of society, of the system, of the jobs. Who gets what? Who gets this? What time they got to come? What time work starts? What time does it end? We're gonna have control of that. And when we in charge, everybody's gonna rejoice. The people are gonna rejoice. They're gonna want us in charge. They're gonna be happy that we're in charge. Because what is Esau doing to the planet? Air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, destroying the earth, animals going extinct. And everybody, no, except for the ones like once you get in the truth, you get a reprieve. You get some rest, but from the worries of the world, right? It's misery. The only thing people look for in the world, in Esau society, is their lust. But once they completed their lust, it's misery. It's misery. It's misery because, first of all, they know everybody has a conscience. They know what they're doing is wrong. Like a drug addict, no, they're not supposed to be on drugs. They're not supposed to be doing that.
Right.
But doing it, they get a euphoria. But once that's not happening, they're depressed, looking for the next hit or whatever. So, and then it's a cycle of self, that you go self damage. You like we damaging ourselves continually. So that's just an example of if we're a drug addict. So we can't do that. And then if you're a drug dealer, when you get that, you sell a lot of a product, and then you have a lot of cash. You get to spend it on this, that, and the third. But then you got to keep up with those expenses. You got to keep up with that. So you got to go out and keep trying to sell more and more product. It never ends. The cycle never stops. But then it's not legal, so you always have to watch your back. You always got to watch out for competition. You got even you got to watch out for your customers if they're not satisfied with the product because it might be bad or whatever. It's not good to be in Esau society, to be in the oppressor's world. Come out of her, my people, and come out of her, my people. Be not partakers of her sins. We can't be. We gotta come out of America. We gotta come out of America. Meaning we gotta take our minds out of America. We can't do what society pushes on us. Definitely can't be LGBTQ. Definitely can't be that. It's an abomination to the Most High God.
Right.
AIDS hasn't gone nowhere. Monkeypox hasn't gone nowhere. Those things are still prevalent, and it's a very horrible way to get unalived. And that's a big process of decay. So that's what happens when we keep. So we be on high. The Lord put us on high above all nations of the earth. Right. And that's what happens when we everything. People rejoice, but right now people mourning because Esau's in control. Now we're going to get Deuteronomy 28 verse 15. Up with y'all. Because we have to understand there's two sides to this. This, observing, keep the laws and commandments. The Most High God will put us on high above all nations of the earth. So, what happens if we don't keep the laws, statutes, and commandments? What happens if we don't? What happens if we don't keep the laws, statutes, and commandments? Will the Most High God still let us to be on high? No, He won't. We won't be on high no more. We won't be on high. And before we get, I'll just paraphrase it. In verse 2 of Deuteronomy 28 and 2, we'll get blessed as well. Right. So the Lord will give us rewards. And all the way down to verse 13 in Deuteronomy, or verse 14, we get described all the different type of blessings and rewards we'll get. But let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Go show.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
So God said, the Most High God said, the Lord said, but it shall come to pass. So this is going to happen. So we found out what's going to happen if we keep the laws and commandments. So, but this is going to happen. Read.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If we will not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, if we will not listen, we will not obey, we will not be obedient, we will not listen, we will not hearken to the voice of the Most High God. Read.
To observe to do all His commandments.
To observe to do all His commandments. So if we're not learning the commandments, if we're not applying what we learn, if we're just ignoring the Most High God, ignoring the priests and prophets, just keep walking past the prophets on the street corners, not coming to class, and then if we do learn something and ignore it, like we learn that we're not supposed to unalive people. We go out unaliving our spouse because we found them in a bed with another person. Or if you're a man and you find your spouse in a bed with another person, she committed adultery on you, you don't have the right to unalive her. But you can leave her. She's not your wife no more. That's what you do. What you do is you get another wife. You get another one. You can have more than one wife. Yes, you got to let that go. If it was a long relationship, it's unfortunate, but that's not your wife no more. It's over. It's done. Now you can't unalive her. Now for the females, a man can have more than one wife. So a man can have more than one wife. So you can't leave your man because he chooses to get another wife.
Right.
You definitely can't be unaliving him because he has another wife. The Lord said he can't have another wife, and that's just the way it is. You gotta deal with it. Read Baba
And his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So all these curses gonna come upon us and overtake us, meaning they're gonna, wherever we choose to go, they're gonna follow us and they're gonna overtake us. So this is us breaking the laws and commandments. This is the curse. We breaking them. The curse gonna come to us and then overtake us, and we're gonna have all of it. We're gonna have all of it. So wherever we go, it's gonna overtake us and then it's gonna consume us. Those curses are gonna be in effect. So we're gonna be on the bottom of society. We're gonna go into captivity, into slavery, and no one's gonna be able to buy us out. We're still in captivity today. Police brutality. Oppression not going to regard the young or the old. He's going to be cruel to us. Whatever we do won't prosper. We're going to have a hard time. Our pocket's going to be running dry. Bills. All these expenses that we have, and then we're not having a good wage to start with. It's bad. Our pockets gonna be full of holes because we're not paying our tithes to the Lord.
Right.
And this is when we break the laws of God. So we gotta keep the laws of God so this don't happen. So now let's go back to Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. Baruch 4, verse 1, because this is the Bible is the books. The Bible is the book is the book of the law. Is the book of God. Is the laws. Go ahead, one time.
Slide here, sir. Be the time check. 8:21.
Wow. So Baruch, yes, Baruch 4:1. Slakia. Yes, the Bible is the. This is the book of the laws of God. This is the book of the commandments of God. In the law, this is the book of the commandments of God. Yes. So we have to make sure that we keep the laws of the Most High God. We gotta keep the laws of God. We can't ignore that. We can't ignore that fact. We gotta be obedient to our Creator, to the Most High God, to Yahweh. That's His name in Hebrew, Yahweh. We only can say it when we teaching His name, prophesying His name, or praying. Otherwise, we can't say His name. It's holy. It's separate. It's we can't use His name in vain. We can't put it on a T-shirt. We can't use it in casual conversation. He's not our buddy. He's our Father. He's our Heavenly Father. He's our power. He's our God. He's the Most High God. We gotta have respect and reverence. So let's get Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. This is
the book of Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth forever.
So the law endureth forever. The law endureth forever. This law endureth forever. So it's not going nowhere. It's not going nowhere. Christ said it himself. He said, till heaven and earth pass, not one jot or tittle shall no wise pass from the law. So as long as the ground beneath your feet, as long as there's ground beneath your feet, and so you can see the sky, the moon, the sun, the stars, the laws in this Bible, in this book, it's not going nowhere. No jot, no tittle is not going nowhere. So heaven and earth passed. Heaven is still here, the earth is still here, so it's not going nowhere. It's going to endure forever. And also, Israel is going to be the Most High God's people forever as well. We are his people. We are his people, and law is not going nowhere. Let's get Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13, because yes, Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13. Just like, so the law is not going nowhere. So what we got to do? We got to keep the law. We got to keep it. We got to learn how to be obedient. We got to learn how to be perfect. We got to be diligent in that. We got to do the steps that we need to do to be consistent in that. Because that's the only thing that's going to help us in these last days of time. It's going to help us in these last days of time. It's going to help our survival. It's going to help our survival when Christ returns. Our lives are at stake. Our lives are at stake. And reward. There's reward for keeping the law. There's a reward for being a priest and prophet. There's a crown. Yahawashi, also known as Jesus Christ, when he comes back to the earth. He's giving out crowns and salvation, safety from the nuclear fire, from World War III, from the nuclear fire, from destruction when he comes back with 200 million angels. There's destruction coming. Christ is coming back with 200 million angels, thermonuclear fire is coming to a land called America, and our obedience to God is what's going to protect us when that happens. Read Matthew chapter 24, verse 13.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. But he that shall endure unto the end. So the laws endure forever. So now we have to endure until the end.
Right.
We gotta endure until the end, because that the same shall be saved. We can't be in the truth and then leave. You can't. It's lifetime. It's like this is our culture, our heritage. This is for life. This is for life. The world, that old man, those old ways, that's done with. That's done with. It wasn't prosperous to begin with. Right. We should consider that was death. Everything in the world just was leading to death and destruction and self-destruction. That's all it was leading to. There's no profit in idols. They can't help. They can't see, hear, eat, or talk. They can't help nor hurt you. There's no profit in idols. False gods. They're the figment of man's imagination. The golden calf in the wilderness, that was the idol. We created it from the gold that the Egyptians gave us when we was leaving out Egypt. It was created then and there. Like it was just created. A golden calf. And then it was said, this be our gods that brought us out of the land of Egypt. Most like I was furious with that. He's a jealous God. He's our power. He's our God. The Most High God is our God. He's our power. He's what saves us in any battle, whether carnal, whether fleshly, because we went through a lot of wars in Israel. Joshua was when we come back to our land, and the Lord was with us. He was with Samson, and he was with Samson. But his heathen wife was able to convince him and show him what made him strong, his hair, and they took him captive, but the Lord was with him at the end. And Samson said, let me die with my Philistines. Let me die with the Philistines. But he killed a lot of Philistines. Philistines at the end, more than he did before. That's what Lord was with him. We got to obey because he repented. We can't go after heathen interracial marriage. You can't go after the heathen woman.
Right.
That's also another statute law. We can only marry if you're a male. If you're a prince, you can only marry a prince of a daughter of Zion. And if you are a princess of Zion, you can only marry a prince of Zion. That's it. There's no fornication in Israel. There's no fornication. There's no prince on prince. There's no princess on princess. We're royalty. What prince is laying with a? Say we're royalty. We got to take back. We got to remember that we're royalty. Just because we are in captivity of a nation doesn't mean we're still not royal. We are the royalty of the earth. We are the true royalty of the earth. We are a nation of kings and priests, and Christ is giving out crowns. Okay, no one's a king yet because Christ is about the crowns that we're working for, but we're still Yahshua, Prince of the power, princess of your female. So right now we're princes.
Right.
Once you get that,
right.
once you get that oil pointer on your head, you become a trooper. You're a prince. You're a prince. You're a prince. You're a prince. Nothing can take that from you. We don't want to be wicked. We don't want to be wicked. A prince don't want to be wicked. We got to be righteous.
Right.
So read that scripture again. Matthew 24:13.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 13. But he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved.
But he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. If we want to be saved, we know what we gotta do. We gotta endure until the end. And look, keeping the laws and commandments does not end with our death. Why do I say that? Reincarnation, regeneration is real.
Right.
This has not been our only lifetime here on the earth. We was here before.
Right.
This happens. We die, go to the Most High God. He judges us for how we just have lived on the earth.
Right.
Whether we was obedient to him or whether we was wicked to him. And then we live out that judgment on earth. We don't stay with the Most High God. There's no hell in the sense of a devil, a red man under the earth, burning you to death, burning you for all eternity. No, hell and heaven is on earth. So if you was wicked, your judgment is going to be on earth, and you're going to have a hellish existence on earth. But if you was righteous, you're gonna be living in a heavenly state on earth. But right now, as a nation, we're living in hell because we broke the laws of God as a nation. So as a nation, we are in hell. We're not in rulership. So we have to make sure that each generation keeps the laws of God. So it's our job to teach every generation to be perfect, to keep the laws of God. That's the only way that generation is going to teach you to keep the laws of God when you come back. You don't want to be in a position where this is what you don't want to be in. You don't want to be in a position where you kept the laws of God, right? But you was like, oh, I'm keeping the laws of God. I'm perfect. But you're not helping out your brother. You're not chastising him when he breaks the laws of God. You're not trying to pull him back into the truth. You're not being on those street corners teaching him the laws of God. You're not teaching your children. You're just worrying about yourself. You can't be selfish like that because what's going to happen in that state if you was the only one? When you come back, there's not going to be no one to teach you because you didn't teach nobody. Who's going to teach you? That's just an example of what could happen we don't teach our people the laws of God, it will fall out.
Right.
The truth won't continue. We gotta keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, and we gotta teach our children to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God.
Right.
Is that for generations and generation? We gotta, because look, Passover, right? We go to the Passover, we bring our family to the Passover.
Right.
Like we Sabbath service, we go to the Sabbath service, bring our family to the Sabbath service. We got to raise up our families right as well. We have to. We got to be brotherly to look. Law, statute, commandments hinges on these 2 points: love the Most High God with all our heart, mind, and soul, and love thy neighbor as thyself. Loving your neighbor is also rebuking your neighbor when they doing something wrong. Because look, especially when you're a priest and prophet, because if we don't tell the people that they're false, they're iniquities. Yes, they're going to die in their sin, but the Most High God's going to fault us for not telling them. It's going to be on us. So yeah, they're going to die in their sin, but we're going to be guilty of it. So it won't matter if the prophets was being perfect, keeping the laws of God, if they wasn't teaching the people to come back to Most High God, to change from the wicked ways, from our wicked ways. So we have to gotta be brotherly. We gotta teach each other. Gotta teach each other the right. Keep the statutes, commandments. So we know blemish in Israel. Yahshua. Now let's go back to Baruch, the 4th chapter, Leviticus 4:1.
The book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. This is the commandments of Salaka. This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endure forever. All that keep it shall come to life.
All they that keep it shall come to life. So when we keep the laws of God, we get life in us. That's what life is. Keeping the laws of God.
Right.
That's what life is. We got to keep the law of the Most High God. All they that keep it shall come to life. It's that simple. It's nothing more plain to that. If you want life, if you want to live, if you want to prosper here on earth, if you want to know how to live on earth correctly, rightly, keep the commandments.
Right.
Keep the commandments. The breath of life, let's get Genesis 2:7. Because Adam, he was the first man to be into the truth. Adam was the first man into the truth. Christ was here, Genesis 2:7. Christ was here 5 times. He was here as Adam. He was here as Melchizedek, the priest, the one that Abraham gave tithes to.
Right.
When he spoiled the heathen that took Lot captive, took his brother Lot captive. Also, he was here as Isaac. He was here as Solomon, and of course, he was here as Christ. So he was here 5 times, and he was here as Adam. And Adam was given the breath of life. That same breath of life. And what was that life? That was the law, statutes, commandments. Most High God gave him the truth. He was the first person in the truth. Read Genesis 2:7.
This is the book of Genesis. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground.
So the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. This is in Genesis. This is the beginning. This is on the 7th day. This was on the 7th day, because mankind was created on the 6th day. This is the days of creation. But a day unto the Lord is like 1,000 years. You got to keep that in perspective of how creation was built. It was a process of a long period of time. It was not like a 24-hour period. Like the first day, the second day, the evening and the morning was the first day. The evening and the morning was the second day. A day unto the Lord is as if 1,000 years. So that first day was a span of time, a long span of time. And then the second day was also a long span of time. Third day, a long span of time. So on the 6th day, mankind was created. And then after a span of time, on the 7th day, the Lord, the Most High God, created. Read it again from the top of the show.
And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground.
And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. Meaning, man was in a low. He specifically chose Adam, but man was in a low state of time. Like, and on the 6th day when mankind was created, man was on a low state. He found Adam in a low state condition. Man didn't know nothing. They were just doing whatever. They had no. They had no structure, no laws, no righteousness. There was nothing. They had no distinction between what to eat and what not to eat. There was no one to really rule righteously on the earth. No one had the truth. So when we're not in the truth, we're in a low state condition. And that's what man was. Man, the dust of the ground being used in a low state condition. Read what is that?
And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
So the Bible is very slang. It's written in slang. Slang is like a lot of imagery, metaphors, and some words mean other things in context. So, because the Bible is a black Hispanic, and Native man's book, and we speak slang. So read that part again, part of that.
And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
So he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. That breath of life was the law, that's the commandments. That's what that was. So Adam was taught to obey God. The Most High God chose Adam. He gave him the law, his commandments. He gave him the truth. He was the first man in the truth. He was put into the truth. He was given dominion over everything. Read, Y'all.
And man became a living soul.
So in Baruch, this is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endure forever. All they that keep it shall come to life. Adam came to life when he was given the law, his commandments, when he was brought into the truth, and he became a living soul. He became a living soul. He got that breath of life. That's what the commandments do for us. Laws, his commandments do for us. Makes us just like Adam. It makes us be on top. It makes us be in the good graces of the Lord. Now let's get 1 Corinthians 15 and 45. 1 Corinthians 15 and 45. Like I said before, Christ was here as Adam, Melchizedek, Isaac, Solomon, and Christ. As Adam, he was given the breath of life, and he became a living soul. Living soul. So we're going to figure out what he was as Christ. As Christ. He made an appearance as Melchizedek. He received tithes and offerings from Abraham. As Isaac, he was the son of Abraham, and he was the father of Jacob. Yahshua. As King Solomon, he was the son of David, and he had wisdom. He ruled the nation. The nation wasn't split at the time. He had wisdom, very wealthy, had many wives, but the heathen wives turned him away from the Lord. Turned him away from the Lord. That's what happens when we get heathen wives. They turn us away from the Lord, and they make us serve other gods. But Adam was given the breath of life. Now let's see what Christ was given. 1 Corinthians 15 and 45.
I want to call this the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 45. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul.
So, as it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. We just read that in Genesis 2 and 7. First man, Adam, was made a living soul. He was given life because he obeyed the Lord. What the Lord gave him, what the Lord taught him, what the Lord gave him the truth, the law, statutes, commandments. Read.
The last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
So now it said the last Adam. Who was the last Adam? What did Christ say in Revelation? I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the first and the last. See, he's the first and the last Adam. He's the first and the last Adam. So the last Adam was what?
A quickening spirit.
Was a quickening spirit. Quickening means to make alive. So he gives life to other people. That's what he did to the disciples. He taught them how to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. He taught the nation of Israel how to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. He gave us life. Not only does he give us life, but he teaches us to teach other people to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So we can be quickening spirits as well.
Right.
That's the job for the apostles. When he left, he told Peter, "Feed my flock, feed my flock, feed my flock." So we have to keep the commandments because it gives life, and by keeping the commandments, we can give life to other people when we teach them to keep the commandments. So we got to walk this walk. So let's go back to Baruch 4 and 1 again. Public show.
Like this for time check 846.
Come. Thwada.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endure forever. All that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. So there's action for every action, there's a reaction. So there's always something, the positive and negative. When we do good, this happens. We keep the laws and commandments, we get life. But if we leave the laws and commandments, if we have iniquity, for the wages of sin is death. If we have iniquity, we die. Such as leave it shall die. We will die. We will be in the world. Those plagues in Deuteronomy 28th chapter, verses 16 on down, will come upon us. We do not want the plagues of Egypt against us. We don't want to die. We want to live a life. How we want to die is how our forefathers died. Slept with their fathers. We want to live to a ripe old age and just die in our sleep. We don't want to die a violent death. To die a horrible death early. Can't see our grandchildren, children
grandchildren, great grandchildren. We want to be able to live prosperous. We want to be able to rule too. Not just, we don't want to just live like a slave life. Is Israel's servant? He's a homeborn slave. Why is he spoiled? We don't want to be spoiled. We don't want to be weak. We don't want to be bound neither. How can someone enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods unless he first bind the strong man? Binding us is us breaking the laws, is getting us to break the laws, commandments. That's how we are bound. That's how the strong man is bound. We are strong men because the Lord gave us that strength, but only when we keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. So let's get Deuteronomy 30 and verse 15. 30 and 15. More on this life and death. Life and death. The Lord gave us an option. When we was in the wilderness. Option in the wilderness. We can choose either life, we can choose death. Moses broke it down to us in the wilderness about the law, statutes, commandments. We went over Deuteronomy 28 and 1. We'll be set on high. We observe and keep the laws and commandments. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But if we break the commandments, all these curses will come upon us and overtake us. So let's get Deuteronomy 30 and 15 double for sure.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good.
See, I have set before thee this day life and good. That is obedience to the Most High God. That's that life and that good. Those are the blessings, the rewards for keeping the laws, statutes, commandments, for being obedient to our God. He's not everybody's God. Remember, the gods of the heathens, their gods, the heathen gods, their idols, they don't do anything. They don't do it. They're worshiping something less than themselves. Because look, an idol is a man-made object. So it's a man-made object. It's a man-made philosophy. It's a man-made. So an idol is a man-made. Is a man-made object. Religion is man-made philosophies and doctrines. So, So the Most High God created us. So, and He chose us, so we get to serve Him. So it's like we, like the heathen. For the heathen, is like where we create something and then we make it our God. We bow down to it. We pray to it. We give it things. But we gotta remember, we created it. We gave it its existence. It's less than us. Whether we made it through a wood, we wooden it up, made an idol of wood, wooden it up, made it. So we can't allow the heathen to. We gotta be separate from the heathen. Basically, right. The Lord told us to be separate. We gotta be separate. We can't be mixed in with the heathen because they're gonna dumb us down. Serving an idol is dumbing yourself down. It is, because you trap yourself.
Right.
You trap yourself in philosophy and doctrine that doesn't profit anything.
Right.
It's going to fail. Horoscopes is going to fail. It's trickery and demonic. It's playing you. It's like you're a puppet on a string. Right. We got to obey the Lord, because the Lord's thoughts is higher than our thoughts. His ways is higher than our ways. Right. That is what we have to obey, because He created us, literally. So He and He's a jealous power. So He deserves our allegiance and our loyalty and our love. So keep reading. Caught us up. I'm gonna put y'all. Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil.
And death and evil. See, that death and that evil comes from breaking the law, statutes, commandments.
Right.
We don't want that. We want to stay far away from that. We had enough of that. The slave trade, those cargo slave ships, slavery, being under our oppressor for centuries. We have enough. Even to now, we have enough of that. Not ruling, having infectious diseases, having illnesses that we can't. There's no cure for. Having all these abominations amongst us that prey on our children. We can't. We gotta clean up Israel.
Right.
So we gotta stay with that life and good. Read what is that?
16. 16.
Come.
Verse 16. And that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God.
See, Moses commanded us this day to love the Most High God. What is love? Love is keeping the commandments. Read.
To walk in his ways.
So walk in his ways. Do what he says. Do what he says. Read.
And to keep his commandments.
And to keep his commandments. We have to be obedient children. We can't go off doing what we want to do anymore. It doesn't help us anyway. There's no profit in it. We think we know everything, but we don't. It's not going to help us. It's going to fail. Read.
And his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply.
So that's what's going to help us live. If we keep his law, statutes, and commandments, statutes, and judgments, that's what's going to make us live and multiply. It's going to make us prosper on the earth.
Right.
Read. And
the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it.
So the Lord thy God going to bless us. We was in the wilderness at the time, and then we was going into Yasharallah, into Israel. So he's going to bless us in that land when we keep the commandments. It's going to help us crop. He's going to help our crops grow. Now in the land of our captivity, if we keep the laws and commandments in this land of captivity, we won't fill up the jails because we'll keep God's laws. But what's the precious laws? The precious laws is easy to keep. If we keep God's laws, they don't go against the precious laws. Don't go against God's laws. So what? We won't fill up the jail cells. The police won't be able to harm us in that respect. And then if something does, if the oppressor try to come against us, the Lord will defend us now. We'll have his protection again. Read.
Verse 17. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shalt be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them. Verse 18.
So if our heart be turned away, so we shall not hear, and we should serve other God, and we should serve other gods, and we serve other gods. Read.
Verse 18. I denounce you unto this day.
He would denounce us. He would denounce us unto this day. He's going to punish us. He's going to punish us severely. Read.
That ye shall surely perish.
We're going to perish as a people. Our way, whatever we try to do, it's not going to work. It's going to fall. It's going to falter. Our business is going to fail.
We're going to succumb to poverty. We're going to start to dwindle down. We're not going to be as strong nation as we once was. Our numbers are going to start to fall. We're going to be left few in number. Read.
And that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land.
And we won't prolong our days upon the land. Our life will be cut short from generation to generation. That's terrible. We was meant to inhabit this earth, enjoy it, rule it, and the earth is meant to be a paradise. Now it's like our gravesite. It's like our prison. Read.
Whither thou passest over Jordan to go to possess it.
Read.
Verse 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you.
So Moses called heaven and earth to record this day against us. So this is going to happen if we don't against us. If heaven and earth, this is heaven and earth record this day against us. Read.
That I have set before you life and death.
So he set before us life and death. So we have an option. So it's recorded against us that he set before us life and death. Read.
Blessing and cursing.
Blessing and cursing. So he set us before us life and death, blessing and cursing. See, that's the same thing in Luke 4:1.
Right.
All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. He set before us life and death, blessing and cursing. That's what he set before us. Give us an option. Give an option. Keep the commandments, we'll have life. We break the commandments, we have death and cursing. So we gotta make sure that we in this book called the Bible, we in these scriptures, that we keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. It's in our best interest. We should bet. If we was a betting man, bet on the Most High God. Bet. Don't bet on Esau society. Esau society gonna fail. Don't bet in man. Bet on the Lord. Remember, the Lord is righteous.
Right.
The Lord is perfect.
Right.
And he's only for us. So the heathen don't get none of the promises and blessings that the Most High God has for us. We only have, we only get those things, the good things from the Lord. So we have to learn to be obedient, perfect, read these scriptures, take back our culture, our heritage, choose life. Do not choose death. So we got to keep the law. Got to be brotherly towards one another. Got to be brotherly. We got to follow the example of our King, Yahushua Mashiach. With that, I'm going to pass the class to Quadazar, Priest and Officer Quadazar Karab of 50.
What's up? I got a powerful hand for teaching the powerful brotherhood class, man. Oh, you want to do it? Understood. All right. This is I.S.U.K. security announcement. No, that's why I'm doing this. This is I.S.U.K. security announcement. We're at I.S.U.K. started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be secluded only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a command, Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10, means tenth in the Hebrew. my Isupk, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We got the Feast of Purim, you understand, on the 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month. And that's Thursday, February 22nd to February the 23rd of 2024. If you want to read up on it, go to Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 to 21. You understand? Now remind Akron and Agwafin to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper to wear, and it's cool to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, and scarf. But with that, Elijah, this is only for the men of Israel. So men of Israel, we're going to give the brothers one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Elijah Shabbat, Elijah, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah Barakatah.
Yazakatah, be hands down. Sorry, you're going to face the sisters. Sisters, you're going to be on your mind to Shabbat. You're going to cut your hair. You're going to put your feet at a 45-degree angle, touching your heel. You're going to bow your head. And when the men salute you, you're going to lift your head up and you're going to salute them with your left hand, smacking your right chest with the salute. And with that, we're going to give the sisters one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Elijah Shabbat, Elijah, Barak,
Yahweh Shemar Athah Hashem Yahweh Shah.
Yazakatah, be hands down, class dismissed.
Shalom Yahshua.